Hi, this is my knitting diary entry for January the 18th. I have not been around for the weekend because I was just plain busy, but I wanted to come here real quick and I'm reaching over, sorry, and talk a bit about my 12 cast-ons of Christmas. I still have not really finished planning everything out because there are some things I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to decide on what exactly I want to do, which projects I want to start, if there's maybe something that I want to maybe pull in from my whips that have been languishing, that have been UFOs. But for starters, I decided to finally cast on the Love Note sweater. And I had swatched for this. You've seen that in the past. I've swatched for it already, so it was just a matter of actually sitting down and casting it on with a provisional cast on, no less. And I did that yesterday, and I promptly twisted a cast on, which I didn't notice until I was like 8-ish rows in. So that was definitely a bummer. Can't recommend it. But then I worked back and then I restarted again today actually, and we are now this far. So this has a very, very loose neckline for starters, and then you pick up stitches from the provisional cast on and you knit up to for the neckband. So it looks a little funky, but we've got, let me see if I can show this properly. We have a good part of the lace bits already here. I hope you can see that. Will you focus? There we go. So I've gotten, what's this, like 10-ish rounds in, I want to say, of the pattern repeat, and it's really nice and fun. It is very, very quick considering I'm doing this on US 10s. No, pardon me, I'm on US 9s. So I had started and knit the first bit on US 10s, and I was like, this looks kind of loose compared to my swatch. And because I did not want to rip back my my second attempt again, I have to restart with the provisional cast on, I decided to be okay with the top bit and just go down with my needle size right then and there, and I think it looks alright. It's going to block out alright, I'm pretty sure. So we've got that going for us, and then yeah, this will be continued on. So I'm knitting this out of a homespun house in the colorway Teddy, I believe. So this is cake number 1, and then I'm using a mohair by Purlmonster, their Kit Silk mohair, in just their warm chocolate brown. So these two together make this gorgeous color, and I'm really happy with it. So there's that. Part of me has a hard time really setting those whips aside after a day or two, as you've noticed probably with the hat, because it's fun to work on some of these things. I've been wanting to knit them for I don't know how long, so it is definitely something that I'm trying to be mindful of. I'm trying to like play around with how many days I spend on which project and when I swap them out and all that, but it is fun. So there's that for sure. The other thing I wanted to talk about real quick is my next cast on. I have decided that I'm going to finally cast on, and this has been on my tentative project list, my Voltage shawl. Now, I once again have forgotten who it's by because for the life of me, names and we don't mesh very well, but the Voltage shawl basically is a 3-color intarsia shawl where you start at the tip and then you go out. And I think you also go back in again at some point. But the whole thing about it is that you have a lightning bolt go down in the middle, in the center. So I have had colors for this shawl since 2021-ish, I want to say. When I saw this shawl on another podcast, on a British knitting podcast, and I was very intrigued. I loved the way it looked, and I was like, okay, this is something I want to work on. I want to actually learn Intarsia specifically for this, because it just looks so cool. And we're gonna do it, I guess. I have 3 colors here. These are all, I think they're all Malabrigo or Hedgehog. One or the other. I've had these caked since 2021, 2022. So it's been ages. I don't have the yarn labels on me. But yeah. So I have these 3 colors here. We have a deep charcoal gray. We have a cream with speckles. There are some neon speckles in here too. And we have a neon yellow. So these 3 together will be my voltage shawl. And basically on one side you have the black, on one side you have the cream, and the lightning bolt is in the center. Ooh, there we go. So this is how this is going to work out. The one thing I'm not sure of is I had set aside needles back in the day, and I'm not sure if those needles are the best choice for the shawl. They are US 6s, which I think the pattern calls for a US 6. I am wondering if I am these days a looser knitter than I used to be back then. Oopsie. And if the designer also maybe is a tighter knitter than I am. So that is the one thing I need to decide on still. If I'm going to continue on with the US 6 needle size, or if I'm going to go with a different needle size. But yeah, I really want to cast on this shawl. I want to finally have this shawl. The caveat is that with this being Intarsia and with having 3 balls of yarn, I think this is only going to be something I can knit when I'm actually sitting at a table. So it's definitely not something that I can take with me that is super mobile. It's going to be a bit more tricky to organize and to like keep everything in check. So that is the caveat here. Otherwise, I am waiting on my brother to swing by for a quick try on of his socks again. I think I'm at the point where I can start the toe. Based off also the cardboard like foot imprint thingy that I made. But you know, it's always better to see it in real life on the actual foot. And based off that, I'm going to decide what to do. He's been informed of it. He was sick, so you know, he's just gotten sick. So we'll see when he's going to be able to swing by. But all in all, I definitely want to do that. And I want to also cast on something new. This would then be cast on number 7, I believe. Let me think. I have Stephen West Shawl, Icelandscape, Stephen West Shawl, Campcraft. I have the Love Note, I have the hat for Lorelei, I have the socks, I have the Empire State Cardi. I think the Voltage Shawl is number 7. So that means I only have 5 left to go. It's going to be quite a bit. Like I said before, I definitely want to make the start spinning for the Jaunty. Hopefully next weekend would be my goal. So yeah, that'll be the goal, and we'll see how that works out. For now, I'm gonna hop off again, and I'm gonna enjoy the evening because it is late, and I want to knit. So I'll see y'all. Good morning, good morning. It is 23rd, 24th, something like that, of January. And I wanted to briefly run a recap. I'm going to start with this one here. So this is my Love Note. And I have actually made some decent progress. I am here. So I've separated for the sleeves, and the lace is all done obviously, and then I am 10-ish rounds into the body. So that was really fun. It didn't take all that long. It's knit on US 9s 5.5 I think millimeter needles. And I'm using the Homespun House soft sock in the colorway Teddy, as well as Prolana Kid Seda, which is their kid mohair silk, in the color 09. Totally love this. I'm having a lot of fun, and now that I'm past the sleeve separation, I think this is going to just work up even faster than it has already. Then a little bit of a sad update almost on my Camp Craft shawl. I had to rip back a significant amount. All of this is ripped back because I apparently miscounted at one point, and I cannot deal with the way the eyelets were lining up then. But this is where we're at. I was I think out to like here, so it was a significant amount. It was sad, but yeah, we'll get there again. We'll get there again eventually. It just it needed to be done. I couldn't deal with it was not working for me. So there is that. Having a lot of fun with it though. And then for the latest cast on, I have the Voltage shawl by, I think it's Sue Stratford, but I'm not 100% certain. I'll put it in the corner. So this is where I'm at. This is a 3-color Intarsia shawl, and the one thing I am still not sure about, that I'm really debating hard on, is if I want to redistribute those colors and rip back all the way to the beginning. Well, at least all the way down to here, where it's just the charcoal. Because when I looked at the photos again, was it yesterday or the day before, I noticed that how I want it to look, I think I need to swap around the speckled cream and the neon yellow for it to work the way I want it to work. And that is ripping back, well, almost 60 rows in Intarsia. I've ripped back before. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, basically. So this is going to sit here and just look pretty for the time being. In essence, well, of course I don't have my phone with me. So in essence, you have those 3 straps, and they're supposed to create a lightning bolt. And I think as it is right now, the cream is going to be like the big lightning bolt, and the neon and the charcoal are going to frame it in the end. And I initially wanted the neon yellow to be the part that is actually the lightning bolt, with the other 2 framing. So I need to see if I can maybe color it in so that I can get an idea of it. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, now I know how to Intarsia, I guess, which is fun. So that's a bonus. For my next cast on, I had on my list of things I wanted to cast on a blanket. And I had during Advent season already started the Imagination Quilt by Meema Makes. So I was like, well, I don't want to count this because it's not technically a new cast on. And I also have yarn set aside for another blanket for the, most likely the Yorkshire Crochet Along blanket by Meema Makes. Now, this is both crochet, and I am not a fast crocheter, and it's a blanket. So I've been waffling back and forth for the last month or so on whether I should just have 2 crochet blankets side by side and they just work up together, or if I should really just be reasonable and just count the barely really started Imagination quilt blanket as my blanket for the 12 cast-ons. Now I'm going to show you where I'm at. This is the stack of squares that I need for the first quilt square for the blanket, and then I've started the second square that's sitting on my desk that has just a few things that I need to do, like weaving in ends, crocheting some more of the squares and all that. And then there's a total of 12 of those squares, and then you have to seam these all together. And then there's a border around each square, as far as I remember, plus a border around the blanket. So there's a lot still left to do. So I have decided I'm going to use this one as my next make for the 12 cast-ons, because in essence I'm casting on a new square every single time I cast on a new square. That's a lot of cast-ons, and I think it's 16. Yeah, it's 16 of those little mini granny squares for each bigger square that makes up one of the 12 squares. So it's a lot of crocheting and a lot of casting on, a lot of work and a lot of ends and all that. So I want to finish this one first before I do the Yorkshire blanket. If I finish this within the year and I have time left for the rest of the year, I'm definitely going to also start the other blanket. But I think it is much more reasonable to just do this one first, finish it, and then do the other one. So the next cast on is already kind of started. It's the Yorkshire, no, the Imagination quilt blanket by Meema Makes. So this is made with the Advent, the Anne of Green Gables, Advent and Avonlea from Skein at the Stitch, and I am using undyed commercial yarn as my neutral main color, quote unquote. And that was just how I decided to work it up. And then you have solid squares, and you have, wait, that's probably not as obvious. This is, you can tell better. Those half triangle squares, and that is what you use to make those quilt blocks. So that is my next cast on. And this weekend I'm gonna see my brothers, and he has to try on his sock again because sock 1 is almost done, like almost done. I just need to double check with him if I'm at the actual point where I want to start the toe. And then I can cast on sock number 2, and then that's gonna be a lot easier and much more smooth sailing, because I don't have to worry about, does it fit? I've never knit socks for him, I have no clue. You gotta figure this out. So that is the plan for those socks. I expect to have those done at the beginning of the week, and then cast on the second one pretty much right away. So that is that. The other thing I really want to do is I finally got a little adapter for the plug for my electric spinning wheel, my EEW 6.0. So I also hope I can find some time to start that one. So that is it for today's update, and I'm going to go back to knitting and crafting and having fun, and I'll be back with the next update with my next project. Well, hi, it is January 28th, I believe. And right now, if I'm looking at that direction, I see the 2 swatches for the Yume by... Ooh, let me double check. Yume is by... Isabelle Kraemer. So I am planning, hoping that the swatch works out for Yume to go to work with the Lina Muka, which is a 100% linen yarn that was made in Lithuania, and this is from Vollen Berlin. So it's a Berlin yarn store. And I saw this in a German podcast, in Fiber Abend, and they used this, and I saw that they had this gorgeous color, so I had to get it. I might need another skein, but all in all, I think this would be really, really pretty in the Yume, so I'm hoping that when the swatch is dry, it's going to work out. And the other swatch that's sitting over there is the one for the Checkerplate tee by LilyKateFrance. And this I'm using this, I used this gorgeous green for the swatch. This is Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino in the color Clover Green. So I hope this is going to work. And then I am one whip short for the 12 cast-ons of Christmas. And I am torn between 3 projects. I have, for one, the Sheena blouse by Poison Girls, which I would be working up in this gorgeous color. And I also have 2 Westnitz yarn along patterns. The first one I have is, if I can find it, the Welted Inkline Shawl, which was from the Yarn Along in 2024. And the other one I have is from the Yarn Along 2025, and that is the Wilderness Adventure Shawl. And both of these shawls use 3 colors. They I got the kit back in the day, so I'm going to probably decide based off what I feel like on the day I'm actually casting this on. It's not going to happen today. I'm thinking it might be a cast on for the 30th or the 31st, just because that would give me like it's a day when I don't have a lot of work to do and I can just focus on knitting, and I think it'll just be fun to do this that way. So those are my options, but I wanted to quickly by and mention that I've worked on those 2 swatches, and it's not warm enough, obviously, in January in the Northern Hemisphere for my swatch to dry fast. So I'm really just hoping it's going to work out. Other than that, I've been working on some of the other cast-ons I've already started, and I am still worried about the Empire State cardigan. I'm not sure if I have enough yarn. Now, in theory, there's another skein in the same yarn by Camellia Fiber Co. that is floating around. However, it's not floating around in my vicinity. So we'll have to see what's going to happen with that. Fingers crossed I have enough. If I have enough, it'll be perfect. If I'm short, I've been talking to friends, maybe I'll just do the sleeves a little short and they'll be like bracelet length or something like that. And when I have that floating skein, that when it has come back to me, I will just undo the bind off and undo the ribbing and knit a little longer and then do the ribbing again. One way or the other, I do hope I'm going to finish this soonish. I finished all the body already, so it's just a matter of 2 sleeves, so it shouldn't take too long, I would think. But for now, I'm going to focus on the swatches I've knit up and on picking that last cast on. So that's the game plan for now. But I wanted to quickly cup on because it's just not, they're not drying those swatches, so we'll just have to see what happens, I guess, basically, which is annoying, but it is what we've got going. And yeah, I'll be back on another day. Sorry about the voice and the everything. I've been sick for like a week and then some. I was editing the last part of the 12 cast-ons, and I noticed a couple days ago already that my bad, that I had talked about starting either the Welted Inkline Shawl or the I forgot what it's called, another Stephen West shawl, but regardless, I had 2 shawls that I was debating on casting on. But as I sat down to cast on, I actually changed my mind and I cast on the Achievement Badge shawl, also by Stephen West, which was also part of the yarn along from 2025. My reasoning behind that was plain and simple, that I didn't have to wind the yarn because I had wound this yarn last year already, so it was ready to go and it just didn't need anything except for cast on. So yeah, I wanted to briefly like put this into the video right after the day when I talked about potentially starting either the Welted Inklight shawl or the what was it called? I don't remember. I'm sorry, my brain, it's just fried. It's been not a great week and a half or so, and yeah, so alas, so with this change in plans, I wanted to briefly hop on here and show you what I knit up, and this is how far I got on that one day that I cast on and worked on this Achievement Badge shawl. I finished, I think either I finished an entire section and then I finished 2 sections, or I finished 3 sections, give or take. One was the eyelet section right here, and then the other one that I worked on is the section up here with the mosaic color work part, and I really like this a lot. It's fun, and when I got those colors I was like, ooh, this is gonna be fun. I love the colors. For reference, we have this cream, we have a bluish gray, and then we have a mossy green and a golden yellow green. So these are the colors, and I love them a whole lot, and I'm having fun with the shawl. And yeah, I thought I talked about it, but apparently I forgot. So here we go. I'm gonna I'm recording this on like the 16th of February, and I really want to finish this video because in essence everything has been edited except for this part here is missing, because I didn't talk about this because I goofed. So yeah, now with that being said, I'm going to call it a day, hopefully feel better tomorrow and the day after, and then I will start giving you updates on what I've been working on for my knitting diary, because I've been working on stuff and I've been making progress, and yeah, so that's the plan, that's the game plan. Now I'm gonna hop off and finish this video. See y'all then. Bye. Alright, so this is January 31st, and I need to consolidate a couple of days because I didn't have time to record. I'm going to start right off the bat with my Sheena blouse, which I talked about the other day, and it's roly-poly stuck in it still this far. I am at the back section, and I'm at the point where I need to start increasing for the armhole shaping. And the other one I worked on, and I think I've mentioned everything, also showed it, is the not fine lines, that's the Checkerplate tee. Sorry, I'm like, it's late and I'm kind of waiting on a phone call, and I figured I would seize the opportunity of approximately 5 minutes maybe to record the Checkerplate tee. I had swatched for, and it worked out fine with the swatch, so I cast on, but I didn't get super far. I'm there. I did a row. I did a row only because I next up need to apparently need to do some shenanigans before I join in the round, where on part of the section you do the pattern on the right side, and part of the length of what I'm working on you have to do the pattern on the wrong side. I just could not wrap my head around it. It was too much. It didn't want to click in my brain, and I was like, you know what, we have other things we can work on. We've started. So that's where I'm at with this one. I do hope that I can find some time on the weekends coming up to work on this, but in general it'll just probably be a slower project until I've joined in the round. That's what I feel like is gonna happen at this point. So yeah, that being said, I'm working on all the other projects that I have. I'm especially working on the socks for my brother. I'm almost done, like almost done. And I want to give those to him as soon as they're done. So hopefully I can still sneak in, well, I definitely can sneak in a photo, I guess, of what I'm working on, but maybe also a little, like, diary entry for the socks. If not, I have socks number 2 that I want to knit for him, that I have the yarn here as well. It's right over the ear. And that I don't want to start until after he's worn the ones I finished for him. Just so that I know that all the measurements are right and the row count and everything just works just fine for him. He tried everything on and it looks fine, and I need to do the toe, and yeah, that's where we're at. So fingers crossed we can do this. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I've been like going back and forth between all the projects here and there as I was feeling it, and especially I was trying to like take the easier things when I was on the train versus the harder things for when I have to sit down and when I need to read the pattern. That just doesn't work for me as well when I'm on the train, obviously. So that's what I've been doing, and yeah, I'll be back with another diary entry eventually.